Hi class, my name is Christopher Garcia and I made my presentation on a funeral practice called sky burials. To begin, let me explain some context. Sky burials are a funeral practice based on the belief of the cycle of rebirth. This means that people that go through this ritual believe that after their death and funeral, they will be reborn in order to live again. This funeral practice takes place in the Himalayan mountains that are located in Tibet, which is a region of China. This funeral practice is done through the belief in Buddhism. Now, let's take a look into what Buddhism is in order to understand the base of these Tibetan beliefs. Buddhism revolves around the following of something called the Four Noble Truths. These truths refer to the belief that suffering exists. Suffering is caused by craving or greed. Suffering is able to be terminated, and that the Eightfold Path is the way to end suffering. The Eightfold Path refers to the ability to have the right intention, speak truth and be kind, act morally right, do not harm or exploit others, be positive, and stray from negativity, be aware and present, and develop a focused mindset through meditation. The way that sky burials and Buddhism tie together is that the body is seen as a mere vessel for the soul that is meant to be taken back by nature, which shows an acknowledgement of letting go. The way that this aligns is because, according to Buddhism, attachment leads to suffering, and through the physical liberation of the body, impermanence occurs due to not holding onto ego. Now, what is a sky burial? I will now explain what a sky burial is. It is a Tibetan funeral practice that requires a specific ritual to dispose of the body. The body of the deceased are left on the mountaintop for scavengers to consume. These animals could be vultures, ravens, crows, etc. The reason this is done is because the body is only seen as a temporary vessel of the soul that will need to be given back to nature in order for the soul to continue the cycle of life, death, and rebirth once again. Before showing this following image, I wanted to let you know that it was a little gory, so I opted into using a blurred out image, and this image shows the vultures eating the body of a deceased person. So as you can see, the vultures gather around the body in order to eat it, and yeah. And the following video that I will show shows how the vultures are gathering around the body in order to eat it. Now I will talk about how the funeral practice plays a role in sky burials. To begin the funeral practice, the corpse of the deceased is cut into pieces by a monk or a specialist in order to spread it out for easier consumption for scavenger animals. The body is then transported and left on a mountaintop or flat land for easy access for scavengers. Through consumption, the body is taken back into nature and the soul is released. The remaining bones are either crushed or stored in containers, and on top of the body being eaten by vultures, it is actually seen as a bad omen if only a few amount of vultures arrive to eat the body. Now here's a small video of the people guiding the vultures or the scavengers to the body of the deceased. Now let's talk about the concepts. The way the way that this practice is tied back to what we learned in class is through remembrance, grief and loss, and cultural and religious beliefs. Through remembrance, it is shown that people decide to not remember the physical, but acknowledge and remember that souls are meant to move on in order to complete the life and death cycle from the Buddhist teachings. Through grief and loss, it is shown that people go through grief by understanding the meaning of impermanence. Through cultural and religious beliefs about death, this practice is based on the Buddhist belief that the body is temporary. The body's return to nature will allow the soul to be free and continue through to reincarnation. Something that I found truly beautiful is that this ritual allows for the benefit of both the deceased to move on as well as nature to receive nourishment from this body. Something I found meaningful is that I believe that this belief may allow people to perhaps allow for the processing of death to come slightly easier, as it is not seen that people are gone forever, but rather are seen that they are on their new way to a new journey. And thank you for watching.